completely spaced to plug my microphones in for the entirety of the previous stream. And if you were there for it, I apologize if the quality of the audio wasn't as good as it could be. And if you're here right now and you're not going to see that stream, then I'm going to make the audio better momentarily. I'll say, indeed. And greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends. It really is a pleasure having you here again for another Conscious Evolution. The previous stream we just did was a deep one. I feel like we haven't gone that deep into conversation and into really expressing ourselves and our current feelings and just like unfolding like, oh, all of the stuff that's going on around us. Because there is, and it was said by Joe, almost this low-hum fear, of persecution, of like, oh, if I share my thoughts on the current happenings, on the current goings on, then maybe I'll be worse off. Maybe I'll be, attacked for that. And we talked about the rules. Hey, audio wasn't bad. I could hear a lot more burpees. Good. I'm happy to hear that. Thank you, Joe, for setting my mind at ease. We talked about the rules. We talked about housing, how there are rules that if you have, access to a piece of dirt on the ground, right? Oh, I can build a house here. You're not allowed to do that unless you pay the government to tell you you're allowed to do that first, right? And then you have to pay a bunch of other people to tell you you're allowed to do that too. All right, and I was like, how is that the rules? And then we talked about the ultra wealthy and almost like watching how we are actively being told that the rules don't apply to you if you have money. If you have enough money, the rules no longer apply to you. And it is taking us aback, right? Like all of us are a little bit shocked by this predicament. And as we were talking about that, we were having conversations about stuff like taxes. Uncomfortable, I know. And how, like our money system has changed. I talked about the devaluation of our currency as inflation, right? How that's also a part of the rules we're facing right now in a way. How my currency here in South Africa has lost about 20 times its purchasing power in my life, right? Give or take. In other words, it takes like 18.34 units of my currency to acquire $1 American. And despite that being the case, now for me, there has also been 3 more US dollars printed since I've existed, right? So there used to be just 1, and now there's 4. All right, there's a lot more. There's 22 trillion of them, but let's not go there further. Right, so in that, this conversation arose of like the rules we are beholden to. Did you get a citronella candle yet? Nope. I have not just yet. Thank you for checking in though. I'm sure it will help with the mosquitoes. I don't know what's going to help out here though. I'm sitting outside, right? The wind is constantly... I was trying to see if my hair was moving. The wind is constantly moving out here. Suddenly I start feeling a bite. And then, we had conversations about how not only has my currency lost value relatively to the dollar, but the dollar has grown in supply exponentially as well in the meantime, right? So it's this double whammy of it is harder for me to acquire this money, and there's also more of it than there's ever been, right? And then at the same time, there are all of these taxes, there are all of these permits, there are all of these rules we have to follow as human beings just to live, right? It's against the rules to die as well, right? It's not legal for me to die. I have to continue to live so I can continue to pay for that existence. And that to me seems like a pretty bad rule. Then get a thermocell. I don't know what a thermocell is either. Maybe some sort of other device. Thank you, Zano. Right now, at this point in my existence, I need to save as much as I can. Right? Like after the last year that we went through, we lost so much. I'm just trying to save all I can right now. Especially with what's going on right now. Right? Like we talked in depth, to say it in another way, about all of the rules that we face. It is hard. It is hard. It feels hard to be an individual in the midst of all of these rules these days. Stuck. Stuck in place. Stuck in suffering. Stuck in the inability to change things. Alongside this whole conversation of the devaluing of our currency, we talked about theft and corruption. Right? During the COVID epidemic, they misappropriated and lost 30 billion US dollars, 500 billion rand. Right? Over 2 years, over a year and a half, 30 billion US dollars just disappeared. I didn't even ask. Where did that 30 billion US dollars come from? South Africa's relief package, announced in 2020, was sourced from a combination of domestic reallocations of internal assistance. So first there was domestic sources, budget reallocations. The government reallocated funds from existing budgets to support immediate pandemic-related needs. And loan guarantee schemes. A 200 billion rand loan guarantee scheme was established in partnership with major banks, the National Treasury, and the South African Reserve Bank to support businesses affected by the pandemic. And then there's another $4.3 billion that came from the IMF, the International Monetary Fund. Though the IMF's rapid financial instrument to address urgent balance of payments needs arising from the pandemic. Like, how fast did they lose that money? All right, so now we're like deep. We're pretty deep in. We're on one layer of our money is losing value because of inflation. On another layer, our money is losing value because we're a third world nation in comparison to the first world nations. And we're printing even more money relatively than the American countries are. So we're like fast moding our inflation. And then 500 billion rand, right? Like I think if every single person in South Africa, paid their taxes, paid their entire salary in taxes, like it would like scythe like 4 years of human life or something from our species. It's just like, oh yeah, 4 years of your life is now gone. It's just gone. It just ceased to exist. Okay, so holy shit. They're not giving me the exact months, but it went in April 2022. In April 2020, the fund is announced. Mid-year, there was investigations of numerous complaints regarding the misuse. In August 2020, The Auditor General released report that highlights significant mismanagement of funds before issues would be identified as addressed. So, April, May, June, July. April, May, June. 3 months. It took them 3 months to lose everything. How do you lose 30 billion US dollars? You're okay, little baby. There you go. How do you lose 30 billion US dollars in 3 months? Like how? How is that even conceivable? You have to be really good at it. 3 months. I want to do some math. I want to do some absurd math. The minimum wage here in South Africa is like $300. So I'm curious how much human life, right? If we have to try and calculate the amount of money people make per month, how much human life was stolen from us with the loss of that 30 billion US dollars? I get it. No, it's true. Let's see if it's going to be able to calculate this. I don't know if it wants to give me the answers. It seems like it might be a little bit loaded. Now here it comes. So, monthly minimum wage in South Africa is approximately 4,000 rand per month. So that's $200. Technically 216 US dollars. So the total number of monthly wages in 30 billion US dollars is 138,888,889 months of labor. Divided by 12, it is 11,574,000 years of labor. That means that misappropriation of that $30 billion is equivalent to the approximately 11.5 million years of labor at the minimum wage. In other words, this amount represents the combined lifetime earnings of over 154,000 individuals, each working continuously for 75 years at the current minimum wage. All right? Like, where are the rules? Where are the rules for that not to happen? And then we talked a little bit about blockchain and immutable ledgers. 1111. I wish for this to stop. 11.5 million years of labor. 154,000 individual lives. Spending their whole lives of money lost in 3 months. What the fuck? Like, what the actual? That is so wild. This calculation underscores the profound impact of misappropriated funds and corruption. That is so very wild. My mind is reeling a little bit. There are 60 million people in South Africa. Considering that, how many years of time or months of time has been stolen from us collectively? I don't know if I'm going to get a number, but I think this number might sound better. It must be so hard. I'm sorry, those corrupt avenues have been in place there for so long. They've become so good at losing the funds. It's okay. You don't have to apologize to me. So we've lost 2.1 month per person. Yeah, that sounds better. Sounds a bit better. Thank goodness. We only lost 2 months of our lives in 3 months. We lost 2 months of our lives in 3 months as a country. Mm-hmm. The misappropriation of 30 billion US dollars represents a collective loss equivalent of approximately 2 months of labor at the minimum wage for every individual in the country. This calculation underscores the profound impact. Yeah. What are we supposed to do about stuff like that? Maybe I can ask. What are we supposed to do about stuff like that? Like, it really does feel a little bit disheartening to see like corruption at this level, you know? Like, what can I do as a person? What can I do as myself right now in this moment to fight something like that? Oh, it is Sam. It's nice having you here, Sam. We're talking about these rules we're having these days, right? And it has been a conversation. Most of the conversation, I think the good conversation happened in the vertical stream. Now I'm just kind of thinking about the rules, thinking about new ways to set up the rules in our brains. But it's nice seeing you, Mama Sam. It is true. It is Mama Sam. What did I miss? Good meditation is in order. Mama Sam, bless you. So, understand anti-corruption laws. I'm supposed to understand anti-corruption laws. Familiarize yourself with South Africa's anti-corruption legislation. Bruh, like, it's not working. Like, if from 2004 we've had anti-corruption legislation, but it's not been working. Keep abreast of current events, okay? Report corruption. Who do I report corruption to? To the government. Government? The government is corrupt. Okay, thank you, sir. We'll look right into it. And then suddenly the government ceases to exist instantaneously. And everybody gets to be free and try and solve problems for the sake of solving problems. For the sake of social prowess. Report corruption, of course. Support and engage with anti-corruption organizations. Yes. Yes. Participate in community initiatives. Advocate for transparency. That I am doing, at least. Lead by example. Commit to ethical behavior in your personal and professional life. Huzzah. Man, it's a good thing we have recordings because I don't remember a thing from last week. It is true. It happens quickly, right? Me and Joe actually had a moment of conversing about that a little bit too, of like her going back and watching the videos from when she was here with me. It's nice to hear that you're here with us. You're okay. Man, it's a good thing. Bless you again. I'm healing. It was an ordeal, but we are all home now. We are all home now, right? And for those who don't know, Sam recently got to move as well. She used to stay kind of close to a train, and the train would keep her up at night, and she wouldn't sleep properly, and the space was no longer serving her. And with her knowing that she's bringing a baby into the world, they moved homes, and they found themselves in a more comfortable space, and that baby got to be brought back home to that comfortable space. He will now grow as an entity in that home, looking around. Sending you love, Sam. So much good luck to you and the little one. To little Virette. I've been talking about the name. I do find it cool. The shenanigans continues in the background. I think one more Dynavap is in order, and then we'll say goodbye. This is going to just be a short one. We overdid it a little bit with the vertical. But we really had fun. I had fun, at least. I felt like I could really unload and talk from my heart. Talk about the things that I'm thinking about. Talking about the things that I'm feeling, that I'm hopeful for. All right. One came before the other, at least. When we had our 2008 financial crash, Bitcoin was made. Because it was literally this, oh shit. these people just care about money. They only care about money. And they are also unable to fail. They can only care about money, and then if they fail at acquiring all of the money, they get given money because they failed. Wow. Systems of power. How about these rules we have? I want to pray for more. I want to pry for more details. Freaking mosquitoes are trying to find an in. I want to pry for more details, but I also want you to rest your mind as well while you can. Bless. I can PM you the nitty gritty, Joe. Please do. Communicate. Let us know all of the things you got goings ons. And then we'll have this one. And then I'll say goodbye. The rules. The rules. I don't know what I'm supposed to be. Am I supposed to be a rule follower? Am I supposed to be an anarchist? How can I anarchy without hurting anybody? I don't think you can. I think anarchy in that way has to be a radical taking onto yourself all of the responsibilities of this world. Realizing that it's getting progressively harder for us to keep track of it all. Like a little mosquito trying to suck your blood, like you have to be aware of them. You can even send it in a voice note if you don't want to tippy-tappy type a bunch. Yeah, that will be working. It is the most direct, at least, form of communication that is also indirect communication, right? Because at least you can still delete the voice note and start over again. Voice note, nah, that's how the surveillance state gets you. It's actually the opposite. Text is easier to surveil than voice notes. All right. It has been done. These doohickeys are shenanigansing next to me still. Uh-oh, yeah, I'm definitely in a few lists. Me and you definitely are, Joe. We send a lot of voice notes. I mean, if the surveillance state is watching, like, just imagine how much they must have seen of me, Sam. Excessively, they've seen of me. And still, I am relatively free. I say relatively, because goodness. Am I free? Am I free? Yeah. I think I'm free here in South Africa still, for the most part. Applies tinfoil hat. They harvest your voice and use it to spoof malicious AI, social media profiles to sway elections. They don't have to spoof your voice to do that. That's all I'll say about that. They can do that without you. Love is true, though. Love is true. I thank you, friends, for joining me, for showing up for this moment, for being present once again. I thank you, friends. We got this. Rules or to not, follow the rule of your heart. Love is true. See you, friends, again soon.